Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. We are back with another video, and in this video, we are talking Ralf Rangnick, the man they call the godfather of German football. And if you don't know, he has agreed to become Manchester United's interim manager until the summer. And most importantly, and more exciting for Manchester United fans is, after that period, he will then become and occupy a consultancy role with the Manchester United board, which is magnificent news for us because we have for so long had so many clowns in that board. And now seemingly John Murtough has fallen upon and he deserves some credit for bringing Ralf Rangnick into the club. But it looks like we're going to have a little bit more positive footballing influence at the club. Initially, he'll be our interim manager until May though. And in this video, we'll find out a little bit more about the man that Jurgen Klopp regards as the best German coach. He's inspired a generation of German coaches, including Tommy Tickles, Nagelsmann, Klopp himself. He is a man that has influenced a lot of coaches and a lot of the football you are now seeing in Germany. He led Hoffenheim to the Bundesliga following consecutive promotions, Schalke to the semi-finals of the Champions League, and currently occupies a footballing director role at Lokomotiv Moscow. He's a man as well that was credited with developing the gegenpressing style, and he was a leading figure at Red Bull Leipzig and Red Bull Salzburg in terms of developing their clubs, especially RB Leipzig, into the clubs that we now see today competing at the top level. He was a director of football for a lot of that time there. He's also been manager of RB Leipzig at time, and is now our interim manager, and also going to have a 2-year role as an advisor and as counsel to the board, which is fantastic. I just hope they bloody listen to him. Now, as I said, we're going to find out a little bit more about him in this video. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, liking and commenting and sharing. Now, one thing that you've probably heard when hearing about Ralf Rangnick is the 3 C's. His 3 pillars of practice for any football club, or at least he believes. Now, those 3 C's, we'll go through them here. The first one is a concept. The first of his 3 C's is a concept. Now, that to him is the DNA of a football club, a specific style of play, something that is easily recognizable throughout and runs through the football club, an attitude, a way of carrying yourself, and a manner of playing football. We'll talk about his style of play a little bit later on into the video, but that concept must run throughout the football club. We hear it about United as well over the years, and it's something that becomes a little bit of a cliche, the United way of playing. But with the recent board that we've got, and since Sir Alex Ferguson left, we have lost our way a lot. And he is someone that will come in and try and affect the DNA of the football club and try and get his influence running through that positively. So that's his first of the 3 C's, the concept. The second of the 3 C's is competence. Now, this sounds mental because it should be a given, especially for an institution like Manchester United. But he believes in having the right people in the right positions on and off the pitch, and then being able to influence them in order to go on his journey with him. And he believes having competence running throughout the club. Now, Woodward will hopefully be gone by the time he properly gets his feet under the table at Manchester United. But having competent people in the right positions at the club is vitally important to him. Now, it sounds like it should be a given, but it isn't always that way, as Manchester United fans know too well. Thirdly is capital. Now, investment, cash. He obviously says this is something that is a must for any football club to be a success, but also says it's nothing without those other pillars, without the competence, without the concept running throughout the club. It's nothing. But in order to have success, they have to spend money. In order to make money, you also have to invest money. And he is someone that believes in that as well. Now, a lot of managers believe that you've got to spend money in order to get success. But he believes combining that with those other C's, with the other 2 C's, the 3 C's, concept, competence, capital, combining all of those things will bring success, and it's a foundation and 3 pillars of practice for any of his football clubs. Now, his style of play is one that will excite many. When he gets it right, he gets it really right. Think of some of the great football that RB Leipzig played. It's high pressing, counter-attacking football, fast, proactive, attacking play. as well. Those are in some of his own words. I'm paraphrasing a lot here from an article I read that in the Coach's Voice. There's a few fantastic ones. If you can, go and check them out. But he also says success is most important, but football is about entertainment. So not only is he looking for success, but he's also looking to entertain. It's not success by any means necessary. It's success whilst entertaining. And that is something that fits in with Manchester United's philosophy over the years. He believes in fast transitions in defence and attack, taking risk, playing vertical passes. He says no sideways or backwards passing. How many times I hear people are sat around me moaning whenever we see a sideways pass from Fred or McTominay or from Maguire or Lindelof. He doesn't believe in any of that, and he says his goalkeeper should have the least amount of touches in any team. In any league, he says the goalkeeper's usually not the best player, and for that reason, we don't want to see them touching the ball too much. Now, these sound like basics that you'd hope every team would think of, but these are key things in his style of playing and in his philosophy of football. He says if you want to increase the speed of your game, you have to develop quicker minds rather than quicker feet. And what that means is some of these players are going to be in for an absolute working on the training pitch. Now, one thing that Ollie pointed out when he arrived at the club was that the team wasn't working hard enough. When you looked at the kilometres that we covered in games, it wasn't high enough. And he picked that up straight away. That's dropped off again towards the end of Ollie's reign. And that's something that will be picking up very, very soon with Ralf Rangnick. He will get his teams covering miles, covering kilometres, getting them working hard, but also working smart as well. He says he's a calmer manager now as well. He used to be too emotional, but he doesn't like to be too emotional and rather calculating. So don't expect him to be doing the old Conte running up and down the touchline kind of thing. He is a little bit more calculating. But whilst he demands a lot from his players, and his players will have to take on a lot of information, he likes to build human relationship with his players. He understands that a lot of them are young, rich adults, and he tries to teach them the lessons of being a footballer, but also reaching them on a human level, which I think is important. You can get lost in kind of coaching your players and over coaching them and expecting them to become robots almost, but you've got to always treat them like humans as well. He says tactics, fitness and rules are all important, but it is my job to improve the players. So it sounds like a man that won't be making too much excuses, of course. One of his 3 C's are capital, and therefore making investments with that cash, but also he'll be looking to improve the players that he have. He'll be expecting 100% commitment, 100% fitness, them to adhere to all of his rules, his tactics, but he also doesn't give it to them like an army general. He obviously gives it to them in a manner that shows that it's going to improve the team, improve them, and hopefully that's something that this squad will take on board. We've got a very, very talented squad, and I think it's one that will hopefully take to his tactics very, very well. When you're thinking about his tactics and you're thinking about his preferred systems, he does opt for a 4-3-3 a lot of the time, but he's also been known to use a 4-4-2, which in effect and in attack can look like a 4-2-2-2. Have I got the right amount of twos there? 4-2-2-2. Yeah, so you have your 4 defenders, you have your 2 sitting midfielders, then you have your 2 wingers who are quite narrow, and your 2 strikers. And what will happen is when your fullbacks push forward, it then becomes almost like a 2-2-4-2, with your players then moving further forward. So it can be quite dangerous, but again, it requires absolute fitness from his players, and you'll have to see these players getting work. So it may be a case of, remember the early Jurgen Klopp days when you see some performances from Liverpool and they just get everything wrong, and it'd be because they were taking on so much information on the training pitch that it took a while to get going for them. It may be a bit of time while we see it, the players taking instruction on the training pitch, because we've got so many fixtures coming up over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be hard to get that time with them. It also means we can trial and error in those games, but we could see a game or two where things go absolutely wrong, and it just takes a few tweaks, a few more training sessions again to get it right. Now, in terms of attack, you may have heard of like the 6 seconds of fury that they used at Barcelona with Pep Guardiola, and that he has something similar in terms of attack. He has 10 seconds where he wants his team to complete a counter-attack. Quick, direct, forward. Again, no sideways passing, no backwards passing. Just getting forward very quickly. If you want to see examples of this, just watch some of the great goals that RB Leipzig scored under him. And in defence, it's 8 seconds to get the ball back. So again, similar to that 6 seconds of fury, in order to get back into shape, set your traps, get pressing, creating those narrow spaces and winning the ball back. Again, you know, if you don't get that right initially, you're going to get exposed a few times, and you could see a few moments where we look all over the place. But again, these players are going to have to take a lot of instruction on the training pitch over the next couple of weeks. I think eventually, though, this is something to be very, very excited about with Ralf Rangnick. Obviously, I think a lot of people will look at his CV and be like, well, he ain't won the Champions League, he ain't done this, he ain't done that. But he's a great thinker, he's a great coach. And I think the most exciting thing for me is, not only will he hopefully, you know, continue to lay a foundation for the next man, whether that's Pochettino or Ten Hag. I hope the club are looking at those two. But also, he then takes that role. He then takes that advisory role. And again, it's advisory. Maybe the power isn't there, but I'd like to think the club would be listening to someone like him in terms of the way they run the football side of the business. So I think this could be exciting. United seemingly have fallen upon something that resembles a sensible plan, which kind of scares me. But that's a little bit more about Ralf Rangnick. Obviously, we'll get to see more of him as Manchester United interim manager, and hopefully over the next few years we'll get to see his influence positively as well. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below about his appointment. As I said, I'm still eyeing up Eric Ten Hag or Mauricio Pochettino, and I've done another video as well where we discuss 10 reasons why Pochettino should be the next Manchester United manager. So make sure you're checking that out on the channel. Keep it locked, like, comment, share, subscribe. Until next time, I've been AdamMcKola. I'm out of here.